Blast from the grassroots, connecting people and sharing ideas.
Hey, this is Arlene and you're listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. So in our second segment, as we proceed towards the blast from the grassroots, we will be discussing about a topic that I think a lot of young people of today would be interested to know more, which is ASEAN integration, especially if it relates to the younger generation of Southeast Asians. We have a speaker here. He was recently being conferred as the ASEAN Youth Icon 2014. And he's also the Vice President of ABIM. And with us is, of course, Jufitri Joha. Hi.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
Welcome, salam, and nice having you here to discuss about ASEAN matters, because very seldom Malaysian youth actually talk about ASEAN. Why do you think it's like that?
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation and the opportunity given by me to speak up for the ASEAN, Durian ASEAN, eh?
Durian ASEAN.
Durian ASEAN FM. I think ASEAN integration is, very significant. I think in terms of, I think the meaning of ASEAN integration is basically to show the world investor, especially, in terms of economy, to the seriousness of ASEAN in such reaffirmation. That means, I think ASEAN integration more towards the economy, because we want to make our neighbor prosper and to ensure that ASEAN region will prosper and will invite more investors, and to ensure ASEAN people will prosper together, hand in hand with their neighbors. So I think ASEAN integration is all about the economy, to invite more prosperities in our region. So I think that is the
essence of ASEAN integration. But why
the actual accent?
But why ASEAN integration is significant to the younger generation? Because as you all know, you are an ASEAN youth icon. So for youth, why it is significant to this group of people?
I think from young people perspective, we want to live in the stable and prosper region. So it is very meaningful to our young people, because the future is for the young people. Because, for the young people aged 20 years old, 30 years old, they want to live in the prosper and stable region. So that's why it is very important when the ASEAN leader, manage to invite more investors and to stabilize the economy of ASEAN and bring about prosper to our region. So our young people will live better in the future. So they want a good job, a good education, region free from any armed conflicts, any regional conflicts. So they want a better ASEAN for them.
So basically,
I think that is significant.
So basically, the future of ASEAN integration actually holds so much more towards the younger generation, because if the younger generation can participate more in terms of ensuring ASEAN integration is a success, then that means it will become a success in the future. And
I think youth is the backbone for the ASEAN integration. They want to see, the main actor is, of course, the young people in ASEAN.
So let's talk about your background, because you are part of this religious organization called ABIM. Perhaps a bit more explanation and description about your organization and your post as the vice president.
Okay, I took this post since 2012 as the vice president. We have in ABIM basically 5 vice presidents.
Oh, 5, that's a lot.
It signifies that we have more work to do, so we have disseminated the portfolio and the burden among those 5 vice presidents. So, unfortunately, I in charge youth and intellectual development to ensure that our young people will prosper and to tackle their issues, and also at the same time to educate our young people to base their strength on the culture of knowledge. So that is my, portfolio to ensure first that our young people will prosper, and at the same time, the future of the young people in Malaysia will be based on the culture of knowledge. So that is basically my portfolio in ABIM.
Mm-hmm. How big is ABIM and what ABIM does actually, if you're talking about ABIM as a whole?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ABIM was established in 1971. It is almost 40 years plus in 2015, if I may say. Of course, we cater so many issues related to young people, and also, even though we are young people, we are not limited ourselves to tackle on only the young people issues, but instead we focusing so many issues related to Malaysian, not only for Muslim, but also for the non-Muslim. For example, we have, Friendship Group for Interfaith Services, a platform to gather all the young people across races and religion, to bring them together and to organize programs together to show to the rest of the Malaysian that our young people, regardless their religion, their ethnicity, that we can live and organize programs together. Not only live together, but at the same time we can organize programs. So far we have interfaith theatre, we have interfaith orchestra to show that our young people, regardless race and religion, they can live peacefully and organize programs together. So that is among our job in Malaysia to ensure integration among the young people in Malaysia.
Okay, so you were being voted as the ASEAN Youth Icon 2014. How did you manage even to get yourself nominated and eventually being voted in? What was the process and what is it exactly about?
It is quite a long process, Arlene, because I have to compete with all the youth leaders from nationwide. So they are coming from various backgrounds, various youth organizations. So I have to submit my proposal showing that I'm doing something different from others, and show my strength that I'm not only a passenger, but I am the prime mover. Doing something that bring the young people to bring the young people in Malaysia to a certain stage that they will success in their life. So I managed to prove that my projects, such as Malaysian Youth Volunteers Leaders, to train our young volunteers leaders to not to only volunteers but becoming volunteers leaders. I think that is the project that make me win this title, because I managed to prove to the juries that I doing something, not only good job, but a great job to train our young people to be volunteers leaders. Volunteers leaders mean not only wait for the opportunity to volunteer, but create opportunity of volunteerism to the Malaysian people. Yeah.
So, who were the judges? Like, were they the Malaysian government or what?
Yeah, Malaysian government, specifically the Ministry of Youth and Sport, appointed two judges. One, Professor Samsudin Rahim from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, from UKM, specifically from Perkasa Center, not the Perkasa that one, the Perkasa under the special project under UKM. So he very well versed in terms of dealing with the young people and has a vast experience in developing our young people. So he became one of the judges, and another one is from Executive Council of the Malaysian Youth Council, ABIM. So I have to face two judges basically.
So how do you relate your experiences in volunteerism and also in your work at ABIM with the larger picture, which is ASEAN?
Of course, when come to talk about the ASEAN, so I try to relate that in order to have stable and prosper ASEAN region, I think one of the important criteria that we want our young people in ASEAN to contribute proactively by promoting volunteerism among them. By having, for example, training our young people in Malaysia to serve those young people, unfortunate young people in Cambodia, for example, in Laos, for example, it will, bridge the relationship between, for example, young people in Malaysia and young people in Laos, for example. So we did send, for example, a team of young people from Malaysia to Laos to serve the poor young people in Laos. So I think it is indirectly or directly will, striving the environment of, the culture of bridging the relationship between Malaysian young people in Malaysia and also Laos young people in Laos. So I think by doing the volunteerism work will, enhance the relationship between young people within the ASEAN region.
Let's talk about Malaysia becoming the chairman for ASEAN Summit 2015. Also, the materialization
another
of the
10 days,
ASEAN...
Another 10 days, eh?
Yeah, interestingly, another 10 days.
Yeah.
And also the materialization of the ASEAN Economic Community, which will be happening very, very soon. How do you foresee this and what can we expect in terms of Malaysia being the central role in pushing forward ASEAN, and what about Malaysian youth as well?
I think 1 year is too short. The period of leadership is too short for 1 year. Of course, you start to take up the chairmanship from 1 January of 2015, and it will end up in 31st of December in 2015. It's too short period. But I think Malaysian government should focus. Key area that will ensure that ASEAN community will meet a success. I think Malaysian government should focus on ensuring our ASEAN region free from any conflict. So far, we have some conflict for example, in northern part of Myanmar, for example, between the Rohingya and Rakhine
state. Yeah,
I think Malaysia can play a vital role in ensuring ASEAN region will free from any conflict.
Yeah,
I think that is the big contribution that Malaysia can offer.
That's definitely the ideal. With Myanmar previously being, or this year being the ASEAN chairman for 2014, they actually got quite a good report card in terms of how they managed to organize the ASEAN summit and address really key issues. For example, the conflict within the South China Sea and issues within economic integration of ASEAN nations. But they failed to address human rights issue, like you mentioned just now, the issue of the Rohingya people.
Yeah, sure.
So with Malaysia becoming the chairman, what are the core issues besides the Rohingya issue that do you think Malaysian government should make as the central focus in order to ensure ASEAN Summit 2015 to be as successful as well?
I think another important key areas that Malaysian government should focus on is to ensure that every ASEAN people will enjoy the same and the equal right among them. I think that is the important area that Malaysian government should focus
equal rights
on.
as in?
For example, the basic fundamental human right, for example, access to education, to freedom of expression. The basic human right that ASEAN people should enjoy. For the time being, I think only the 6 founding members can, I think at par in terms of leading the ASEAN vision and mission. While the rest, for example, maybe East Timor, for example, Myanmar, for example, they still struggle in, to be at par with all those founding 6 ASEAN members countries.
They still cannot fulfill the basic needs of its population as well, in a way.
For example, Myanmar, they just came out from the they just came out from the closed doors policy before. So they just came out from the closed doors policy. So they are now far left behind. So I think Malaysian role is vital in helping those ASEAN countries, for example, Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, so on, to be at par with the 6 founding ASEAN member, Thailand, Manila, Indonesia, Singapore, and Brunei Darussalam. I think that is the challenge for our Malaysian government to focus on.
Earlier on, you mentioned one of your volunteer work is to go to Laos and actually have somehow a collaboration between the Laos youth and also the Malaysian youth in helping each other, especially in addressing issues such as poverty and access to basic needs. But if you were to give highlights on certain issues that are specifically youth issues, what are the issues that do you think the government and society within ASEAN should push harder in terms of trying to address it?
You mean for the young people?
Youth issues, yeah.
Yeah. I think among the key areas related to the young people issues is the issues of unemployment. Currently, we are facing a great challenge among the young people, unemployment among the young people, because the challenge of the ASEAN government to provide, of course, the basic foundation is to provide stable and prosper, equal opportunities in creating job and so on. So I think Malaysian government and the rest ASEAN government should focus on how to create more jobs and to at the same time dealing with the problem of unemployment among the young people. I think the unemployment among the young people in ASEAN is quite high. So I think that is the.
But why there's a lot of unemployment? What's the issue here?
I think because of the, as I mentioned earlier, is our challenge is to create a stable and prosperous ASEAN region. So because there are certain conflicts, for example, in southern of Thailand, southern of Philippines, northern of Myanmar. So the ASEAN government couldn't focus on this because the region is unstable. So it is difficult to invite more investors and create more job and opportunities for the young people to be in the job sector. So I think that is the problem that I mentioned earlier, that Malaysian government, when take the chairmanship of ASEAN, to ensure that stability and prosperity first, then they will simply can invite all the investors and create more jobs for our young people to thriving in ASEAN region.
What are the other youth issues? I'm sure it's more than just employment, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the area that we should focus also is social innovation.
What does that mean?
The social innovation means that recently our government just launched the program called Startup under the MAGIC Center for Creativity and, if I'm not mistaken, Center for Creativity and Innovative for Entrepreneurship. Sounds like that lah, MAGIC. It is good project, I think, that to be offered to the young people the opportunity to start, a small business, but at the same time they can, generating income, and at the same time they can settle the social problem issues that related to our young people. It is just like social entrepreneurship, providing the economic opportunity, but at the same time they can solve social issues that relate to our young people. I think Malaysian government should bring this theme among the young people to promote social entrepreneurship, to promote social innovation in dealing with our young people issues. I think the key term is social innovation among the young people.
And how can governments or even society achieve that?
I think by establishing the MAGIC Center, I think it is quite good start for Malaysians. What the Malaysian government should do after this is to expand the operation, the magic operation, into the ASEAN countries. So they can start promote that we need this center. They can they can show to the rest of the ASEAN government that they managed to have this magic center that can train our young people to start with a small business and solving the social problem. So I think it can be an example to the rest of the ASEAN government to adopt the same model to be implemented in the ASEAN region.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, diversity is also part of the key in ASEAN, having multi-ethnics, cultural, race, and also in terms of how society, in terms of lifestyle as well. So how can young people leverage leverage diversity to be something to be celebrated rather than as a means for people to fight against each other? Because a lot of the conflict that you mentioned earlier are because people within Southeast Asia don't really value the kind of diversity that we have, including Malaysia. I mean, if you look at how race and religion becomes a political tool, for society and those who are in interest for it.
Yeah. I still remember when I participate in one of the meeting with the representative from US in dealing with the Myanmar issues. Among the suggestions that I posted to them that we should enhance among the young people is the culture of interfaith dialogue and interfaith engagement. In this interfaith dialogue and interfaith engagement, we should encourage our young people to feel that the diversity is the privilege of the ASEAN region, because we have all the major religions was birthed in ASEAN soil. For example, Buddhism, Hinduism, and so on, including Islam and so on. So it is a privilege, and it is something special for our young people to learn each other. So that's why in Islam, I always reiterate with the rest of my friends that in Islam we have the concept of lita'arafu. Lita'arafu means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command you to knowing each other and to learn from each other. It is considered one of the knowledge that we should seek. We should appreciate the diversity. It's one of the knowledge that the Muslim, for example, should appreciate and should celebrate. When they look at the diversity and multi-diversity and so on is a privilege and something to learn about. So I think they can appreciate the diversity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity and so on. So they will appreciate more on this among the young people especially. So we should enhance and inculcate the interfaith dialogue and interfaith engagement among the young people, learning each other. I think in the case of Rohingya and Rakhine, we should start something to enhance specifically on interfaith dialogue between Buddhism and Muslim and Islam. So I think that is the key factor that can, solve the problem to enhance the understanding about each other.
I see. Lastly, if ASEAN were to make this a success in terms of ensuring there's as little conflict as possible and there are peace and stability in this region, what are the major challenges and hurdles that ASEAN needs to address first?
Yeah, I think from my experience, I think we should have one identity. For example, what is the working language for ASEAN? Should we adopt Malay, or should we adopt English, or should we adopt 2 or 3 working language, for example, to ensure that that is our identity that we share and bring together. For example, ASEAN, maybe if I may suggest that we can use, apart from English, we can adopt, for example, Malay language, for example. So that is one of our identity that will bring us together. maybe we can adopt one more language, for example. Maybe we can adopt, for example, Khmer language, for example. I think ASEAN government should, identify the working language that they can adopt during the meeting, discussion, and so on. I think that is a great challenge to build up one identity among the ASEAN people.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing your views, and it was a pleasure having you.
Yeah. Thanks, Arlene.